And now, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
And yes, here we are again another day committed to being your consumer advocate, all about helping you understand your buying decisions, making you more street smart here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, as we do every day, 4 o'clock drive time, right here on AM 860 The Answer, 93.7 FM. We've got our weekend show on FM 102.5 The Bone. And make sure you download our podcast. We'd greatly appreciate that. Spotify, iTunes, and of course, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Lots of great content out there. Brandon Rhymes Realty on the YouTube channel. We got a great lineup for you. Haven't heard from Shane Socash in a while, but he is the owner of David Reynolds Jewelry and Coin. Talks a lot about alternative investment opportunities, precious metals, gold, silver, etc. We got Michael Watkins as well, principal, Tampa Bay Advisory. He's author of the 401k Revival. And we've got Justin Kelly in the house, our mortgage expert contributor, all things real estate and mortgage, CPF mortgage in the house as well. Justin Kelly. Going to talk about new applications being down, what the expectations are for the Federal Reserve potentially raising rates, and how that may affect local inventory throughout the state of Florida, the Tampa Bay region, and the Gulf Coast region of Florida here as well. And our feel-good story of the day, we got one of our own show expert contributors, Martine Grammatica, leads U19 West Florida Flames to nationals. So feel-good story of the day coming up, local expert contributor on the program here as well. I want to feature a couple of our hot listings. We like to feature our real estate listings live on air, and we do that to help our sellers profit more and sell faster. More exposure for the listings helps get more activity, more offers, and help you sell typically a lot faster than the average MLS listing does. Higher list price to sell price ratio through our team at the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty, also part of the sports and entertainment division with Keller Williams Realty. So we got a hot new listing here in Tampa. It's 110 Adelaide Street in Tampa. This is in an opportunity zone. You have a double lot, so there's a room for building and adding on additional units onto this property. 110 Adelaide Street in Tampa. This is a gorgeous property, absolutely beautiful. Almost 1,300 square feet, 3-bedroom, 1-bath. It's got a large double lot in an opportunity zone. You got a brand new AC located in a popular and historic district of Tampa Heights, close to downtown. And it's got a lot of cute little extras as well. You got an extra mother-in-law suite in the back. Just a gorgeous property here. Detached garage / workshop. The kitchen has granite countertops, solid wood cabinets, stainless steel appliances, original hardwood floors, no HOA or CDD, and it's a great Airbnb property. Beautiful property at 110 West Adelaide Street in Tampa. One of our hot listings from the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. 7643 Stony Hill Drive in Wesley Chapel. This is another beautiful single-family home, Pasco County, and it's in Wesley Chapel, 1805 square feet. You got 4 bedrooms, 2 bath, low CDD, low HOA, and it's just a gorgeous property, completely, just a brand new look on the inside. Gorgeous property here, new AC, you got a smart thermostat. The property is on a waterfront lot with no backyard neighbor, and it has all of the updates that you would expect. Community pool, great opportunity to own a beautiful property in Tampa Bay. 7643 Stony Hill Drive in Wesley Chapel, and you can see all of our real estate listings at PlatinumMVPTeam.kw.com. This is God's country. All right, Justin Kelly in the house. Welcome back, sir.
Thank you, my friend. Good to be here.
Yeah, likewise. Thanks for coming in. CPF Mortgage, local area business owner, local area expert contributor. Support the local economy by supporting the Consumer Quarterback Show. And Justin, you got a lot of great stuff to talk about today, man. With home sales down, why are home prices still up? New applications are down, and the Federal Reserve's talking about raising those key interest rates again.
Yeah, I mean, one of the big questions we get right now is, people are hearing about inflation. The economy is, where is it going? What's happening? When are prices going to collapse on homes? And, this article kind of speaks to the fact that, although home sales we're starting to see them come down, prices really aren't coming down much. Mm-hmm. So we're getting to some of the data points on that here. But, this gentleman who wrote this article originally back in 2020 made a pricing prediction model. And he said over the next 4 years from 2020 to 2024, we should have or see 23% price growth.
Okay.
Now, his prediction was based on the fact that we already had low inventory. We'd been underbuilding for several years since 2008, the credit bubble.
Yep.
And we had a aging demographic that was coming into home buying age. We've talked about that several times. But his model kind of got snapped in half and broken when COVID hit, right? We had a lot of weird things happen with COVID. People went remote work, quit their jobs and found, other work. And we had this great migration of people moving around, which caused a whole lot of demand happening all at one time with low inventory already. And then you couple that with the crazy time of COVID where people didn't want to list their home. They want people walking through their house. They didn't want, strangers in there potentially bringing in, the virus in their home. And next thing you know, we've got a situation where low inventory went to extremely low inventory, demand, soared, and now we got this massive price appreciation.
Yep.
So coming into the, last year and this year, you've got people that it's not the fact that they don't want individuals coming in their home for fear of COVID anymore. It's people don't want to list their homes because where am I going to go now? Because price appreciation went nuts.
Yep.
And so we've got a different problem that is kind of we're working through right now. But I think he had the right idea with his prediction model. I think it just got thrown and was skewed by this whole COVID situation that kind of hit and happened.
Yeah, absolutely. Well summarized there. I mean, you look at the activity and the migration patterns. It was typically blue state to red, right? And then we've traditionally had that northern state coming down to the warmer climate of Florida. Sometimes heavy on the retirees coming down to Florida. But yeah, that's what happened. And I always like to identify the opportunities for folks out there. I think right now is a perfect opportunity for that move up buyer. Can you explain what I mean when I say a move up buyer?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean somebody who currently owns a home. And whether their family has grown and or the economics in their home is, their pay is increased and, the demands of their family have changed and it's time for them to move up and, sell their home and buy another one.
Higher priced home. So what happens is if you analyze that a little deeper, so if you're selling, maybe you're a first time buyer 5 years ago, you bought it like 200 to 250, 300 price range, and now you're selling it at that same price range, 300 plus in that range. You have more competition in those lower price point buckets, right? We refer to those as real estate as buckets. So 250 to 300, 300 to 350 or 325, right? We call that a bucket. Now, if you've got the changes, as Justin mentioned, you're making more money, you need a bigger house, whatever the rules, whatever the situation that the family economics, household income may have changed. What happens is then now let's say, wow, let's buy our dream home. We're ready to really double down and invest. Maybe we consolidated 2 cars into one or whatever the situation. We're working from home. Now we're going to buy an $800,000 home. Okay, so there's a lot less competition for those $800,000 price points, and you still got decent rates. I mean, we keep talking about the Federal Reserve maybe raise the rates, maybe again. We're still not talking about 8, 9, 10%. We're talking what, 6, 7, 8?
Yeah, I mean, no, not even. I mean, this gentleman in this article made the point last year in February, hey, in order to stop this crazy out of control demand so people can move up and feel comfortable selling their current home, rates need to go up. And I think, last year we saw it too, and we're like, hey, this is something that needs to happen. You were having people with 30 offers. They were having to do appraisal gaps or pay above and beyond what the house is worth to even get their offer accepted. And it just wasn't sustainable at that time. So as we've seen rates go up, the beginning of the year, first and beginning of second quarter, we saw 4s. Then it started going in the high 4s and 5s. And, he makes the argument here and talks about the fact that, as we went into first and second quarter, it really didn't provide much demand destruction, meaning there was still a lot of people out there competing for these homes. Mm-hmm. And as we've seen rates go into the mid 5s now, all right, as we look at the data and we look at the most recent purchase application data that was released, we got applications down almost 18%.
So new applications for homes are down. Purchase side.
Yep. Purchase side.
And the refinances have been down because of the higher rates, right?
Naturally, yeah.
Doesn't make sense to change.
If you're already locked into a low rate, unless you need to consolidate debts and or you've got a divorce situation where you have to get somebody off, the current note, it's kind of hard to say, hey, let's take you from a 2 and put you in a 5.
Yeah.
Doesn't make much sense unless you've got those other circumstances debt consolidations where it's like we can make it work and
Yeah.
it makes good economic sense for a borrower.
Absolutely. He's Justin Kelly, CPF Mortgage. I'm Brandon Rhymes, Consumer Quarterback Show, Platinum MVP Team, Keller Williams Realty. And another thing you look at when you think about, point number 4 here on your notes, it says even with rates 4 to 5% at end of first quarter, second quarter didn't give the demand destruction that was expected.
Yep.
Another key point I think of that is if you look at the top 3 states where people are migrating from, New York, Illinois, Chicago, or California, those are higher price point. They've been traditionally higher price. They're selling. They're making equity. They're having a bigger cash in of equity. So they're coming down, putting in $100,000-$200,000 down on these Florida homes that are a great discount compared to the higher price points that we're coming from in New Jersey, New York.
That's a fantastic point. We see it over and over again with this great migration thing that's happened, and people are able to move around with working remotely. They're coming from these other states where, historically they're used to paying $800,000 for a starter home.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? So when they're selling their homes and we've had record price appreciation and equity, and they're coming with a big chunk down, it caused a whole lot of that competition we talked about for these homes that were listed. And couple that with really low rates like we had in the past, it was causing that real issue of 20, 30 offers. Nobody could get their offer accepted. Buyers, they were getting discouraged and, they quit looking. Now we're reaching back out to people and saying, hey, now's a great time. We're getting a little bit more balance in the market. And I'll kind of tie it into a data point that we did. I brought in data a few months ago, and we talked about how many of the active listings in Florida were under contract at that time.
Yeah.
And we were running about 50 to 52% every single month there for a while. So that means half of all the listings that were available were under contract. So the absorption rate, right? I look today and we're down 18%.
Yeah.
Which correlates with the purchase application data,
Yeah.
which is down 18%. Pretty interesting.
Yeah.
So it's still really high. 34% of all listings are pending right now in Florida.
Yep.
So the demand is still there, which means prices aren't really going to go very far. They're not going to go down. I don't think we're going to see an economic situation like 2008 in real estate, unless we have a really different economic breakdown of some kind.
Yeah, the dollar collapses. I mean, there's
something significant has to happen in order for the price destruction to happen the way it did in 08. I just don't see it. So it's a really good time now for buyers to step in the market because it's becoming more balanced.
Yeah, it's a balanced market, absolutely. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, though, I want to ask Justin more about any down payment assistance programs, some opportunities maybe for owner-occupants to access local municipality money. I know there's some hometown heroes type money from the state. And then also maybe talk about the investor side. What about on the investor side? What's the down payment required for investors, maybe looking at getting into real estate as an investment? And then also I got a clip I'm going to play about the CPI, Consumer Price Index, the highest it's been in 41 years. Right here on after the break, Justin Kelly, CPF Mortgage, Consumer Quarterback Show, ConsumerQB.com.
This is Warwick Dunn, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show hosted by my man, Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at ConsumerQB.com.
Hey, Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, in studio with Martin Gramatica, Gramatica, that is, former Tampa Bay Buccaneers Super Bowl winner, Lifeguard Imaging, lifeguardimaging.com, saving lives through early detection.
Thanks for having me, Brandon. Yes, that's what we're doing at Lifeguard Imaging. You come in asymptomatic, and that's what we do. You're being proactive. You're coming in. We do a scan from the neck to the pelvis. It's a full body scan. It's a 3D image of every organ, and that's where 90% of the deadliest cancers are, in our mid region. So we can see everything. But for your listeners, we have a real good special. We have a $599 value, absolutely complimentary. They can come in for a coronary artery scan, which will give you their calcium score, 100% complimentary for your people.
Very cool. Hey, take them up on that offer, 813-917-1894. Call or text, complimentary scan, 813-917-1894, and check them out online, lifeguardimaging.com.
Dennis Prager here for Brandon and Lindsay Rhymes, owners of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams. Buying, selling, investing in real estate, their nationwide Keller Williams network makes them the best team to work with. Sellers, have your property featured live on air, creating multiple offers. Buyers, leverage a unique system that gets your offer accepted, never overlooked. Call or text 813-750-0550, 813-750-0550, or consumerqb.com. FEELGOOD.com.
Have you desired more income and more freedom in your life? Now is your time. Keller Williams Realty has just launched our own real estate school, and you can get licensed for free. I'm Brandon Rhymes, host of the Consumer Quarterback Show, owner of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. And for the first 3 people who reach out, I will personally coach you. 813-917-1894. Call or text 813-917-1894. ConsumerQB.com. ConsumerQB.com.
You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Online at ConsumerQB.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-917-1894.
And we're back. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show. Justin Kelly in the house, CPF Mortgage, CPFloans.com. And before we jump back into this content, I want to let you know about a couple of our hot listings here. We've got a vacant land for sale at 1804 East Spencer Street in Plant City. This is a great blank canvas for you to build your dream home. Beautiful property at 1804 East Spencer Street in Plant City. 1.15 acres. You got a water source that is already connected. There's no HOA, so no deed restrictions or any homeowners associations to contend with. Perfectly positioned between Tampa Bay and Orlando Metro, and it already has a 30 by 25 slab, pipe for plumbing, got a new well and electric pole installed as well. 1804 East Spencer Street in Plant City, a gorgeous property to build your dream home on, and it's a great opportunity here in Tampa Bay. We got a lot of vacant land, other vacant land listings, by the way. If you're looking for land, we've got about a dozen listings that are vacant land opportunities. Also, we've got a property here at 2803 Safe Harbor Drive in Tampa. This is $1 million listing of ours. It's a $1.159 million listing, 5,200 square feet, 5 baths, gorgeous estate-style home located at the estates at White Trout Lake. Spiral staircase to the second floor. You also have a private elevator as well. Large master suite. Got granite countertops, new appliances, pool, heated spa. Large fenced-in corner lot location. Beautiful property, 2803 Safe Harbor Drive in Tampa. And you can see all of our real estate listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
Buy dirt, find a one you can't live without.
All right, Justin Kelly in the house, CPF Mortgage, CPFloans.com. And I wanted to play a quick clip here about the CPI index, what's happening there, 41-year high. You know, the average person, citizen, consumer is having to pay $493 more per month. I mean, that's like a work week for some people. Let's play this quick clip here on the highest rate in CPI in 41 years.
The Consumer Price Index rose a surprising 9.1% in June year over year, much higher than expected. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, this is the highest rise in 41 years. The biggest increases were for fuel, food, and rent, spelling trouble for Americans trying to make ends meet, as wages just aren't keeping pace with rising prices. A report by Moody's Analytics says the average American will need $493 more per month to pay for the same expenses.
The bad news doesn't end there. The core index, which omits food and fuel, rose 5.9%, again, higher than economists predicted. And these increases happened even though the Fed raised rates 0.75 of a point. Some are now calling for a rate hike of a full point next round to slow the economy.
So a full point rate hike is what they are predicting, expecting. And a lot of times, too, you think about Moody's and you think about the Labor Department. And I also think about what happened with COVID, a.k.a. the China virus, and, you know, everything that happened with Big Pharma. And you hear all these ancillary stories coming out from, Dr. Robert Malone, Dr. McCullough, about some of the manipulation and the kickbacks and the money floating around through Big Pharma. I think it's much higher than 9%, 9.1%.
So do I. And we can see it every day as consumers ourselves. You go out to eat, you go to the grocery store, you buy any type of at any type of recreational vehicle, cars.
Yep.
It is. I mean, it's through and through a serious problem.
Yep.
And yes, typically, historically, raising the Fed funds rate slows demand.
Yeah.
Because that interest rate is directly tied to short-term interest rates, car loans, recreational vehicles, credit cards. So it usually stops spending. But we're talking about everyday essentials. We're seeing price hikes on this stuff. So
Yeah.
I don't necessarily know if raising the Fed funds rate is going to work or not. And what I mean by that is it's a supply issue. We don't have enough of, you've got the factories, a lot of them over in China still shut down, and in other countries, they're not up to full capacity.
Right.
So we don't have our raw materials, our finished products, our goods that are used to coming in this country,
Yep.
so that, we have enough supply, because the demand is certainly there.
And the truckers too.
And the truckers are there,
Especially California. They won't even let them be independent truckers.
Exactly, yeah. Good point. We've got our main ports and hubs are coming in through California, and truckers are, from what I've read, having issues getting in there. They've got to have certain emissions and whatnot with their trucks, and it makes it rather difficult for us to get the supply out there.
And sorry to interject, but that's the problem too when you have these disconnected politicians in D.C. that have been there for 40-something years, 30-something years. They never signed, the front of a paycheck or the back of a paycheck. They're in a position where they're running, nonprofits, or they're organizing different, political events. They've never actually ran a business or understood what it means, and they're making these bad decisions, costing us as consumers. And it's a lot of times, I start thinking, man, this is borderline treasonous. You start thinking about sending oil to China when we're in the middle of this, horrible, recession. Fuel rent is up. I had lunch yesterday. I hate to sound like a cheap butt, but I had lunch. I'm pulling out a bottle of water that I drink. So, for example, I had lunch yesterday. And I didn't ask what the price was for the water. I always like to drink like a sparkling type of water. They had it was a Voss in a little fancy little container that they had $8.50 for that little bottle of water. I could buy 2 or 3 of these bottles here that I get shipped to my house. Yep. So restaurant owners are having to, charge more, and it's trickling down to everybody. It's really hurting.
I can sympathize with you because I'm a Pellegrino guy.
There you go.
And so, yes, I have noticed that as well when you go, and I've switched to just regular flat water because of that.
Yeah. If I knew it was going to be $8.50, I'd say, I'll just deal with some water, just regular tap water for now. Drink that when I get home. But, you try to support local businesses and give them the benefit of the doubt. But so we got Justin Kelly in the house, CPF Mortgage. Again, folks, local lender supporting the local economy. Don't support the big woke banks. Don't support those companies that took the bailout money, that when it took the bailout money and bought all the best real estate on every corner. The big names. I don't have to say them. But, a lot of times you have your banking savings there. You might get an auto loan from them. You can work a lot of the same deals with Justin Kelly, local lender, CPF Mortgage, CPFloans.com. Reach out to the show hotline also, 813-917-1894. You can call or text the show hotline, 813-917-1894. And we'll put you right in touch with Justin and his team. And you can talk about renters as well. That's another big thing. Rents are sky high, Justin.
Yeah, no doubt about it. We get a lot of phone calls, and we're looking at the prices people are paying, and they're calling in to see what their options are. And we start looking at what they're paying in rent, and then do an analysis for them, and pre-qualify them, and walk through the pre-qualification process. And we find that in some cases they can buy a house $300-400 a month cheaper than where their rent is right now, and you have no price control over that. Year over year, if you're in a year-to-year lease, you may continue to see that increase on you. Yep. So at least with a mortgage, if you get into a fixed rate, really the only things that can adjust on you are your real estate taxes, and the good thing the state of Florida has some protections in place.
Yep.
Your homestead benefit that caps how much your taxes can go up every year, and your insurance.
Yep.
But as far as your payment, your monthly principal and interest payment, if it's a fixed rate, that's not going to change for you.
Right, absolutely, and you're right on point. You can buy for less than you can rent for in almost 99% of the markets here. So it's a great opportunity to reach out to Justin Kelly, let him sit down with you, and kind of navigate these mortgage waters and look at the different programs, compare the rates too. His rates are going to be very competitive. He's a correspondent lender, and he's got some direct relationships as well, and can broker certain loans out as well. So Justin, thanks a lot. Always a pleasure, man.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. All right, taking a quick break, and we're coming back here with Michael Watkins. 401k talk coming up here. He is the author of 401k Revival, and he's the principal of Tampa Bay Advisory right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Follow us online at Brandon Rhymes1 on Instagram, Twitter, Getter, and all the social sites out there. Consumer Quarterback Show. We'll be right back. ConsumerQB.com.
This is Chris Voss, former FBI lead hostage negotiator and owner of the Black Swan Group, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show hosted by my friend Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com.
Hey, Michael.
Hey, I'm in Oldsmar and we're having a tremendous storm over here. I'm having trouble getting back onto the Zoom link. My computer's operating fine. I launched the Zoom. It says join a meeting. Let's see if it connects now.
All right, I can hear you now.
Tell him that I got to send him a new link.
Michael, he's got to send you a new link.
Okay.
The other one ran out.
Oh, the other one ran out of screen time or whatever.
Gotta put more quarters in them.
Yeah.
Hey, tell him to send it to watkins.tampa@gmail.
Watkins.tampa@gmail.
Yeah, send it to both.
Oh, I sent it to both.
Okay, thank you. There we go. X. Okie dokie.
Okay.
All right, my friend, we'll get started here in a minute. Let me know when you're ready.
Okay.
Let me just double check this is.
You bet.
Four, three, two, one. You're listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, helping you win in any marketplace and helping our sellers profit more and sell faster by featuring them live on air. We got a property at 27641 Lincoln Place in Wesley Chapel. It's in Pasco County. 3.24 acres. So you got over 3 acres of a beautiful home, estate-style home here in Tampa Bay, Wesley Chapel, Florida. 3,000 square feet, 4 bedrooms, 4 bath, located in Saddlewood Estates and beautiful Pasco County. No backyard neighbors, so you're overlooking the conservation area there. Air-conditioned 3-car garage, breathtaking views, and it's got a butler's bar, service area, screened-in pool and lanai, minutes from the Grove, Tampa Premium Outlets, and Wiregrass Mall. Check out Lincoln Place and Wesley Chapel. Beautiful listing there. And we also have 700 North Osceola Avenue. This is a beautiful 2-bedroom, 2-bath condo in Clearwater, overlooking the intercoastal waterways. This is a gorgeous condo. I absolutely love this condo. And you've got a private, or a community pool rather, that overlooks the waterway. 1,600 square feet, 2 bedrooms, 2 bath, 2 king-size master suites. Granite countertops, beautiful wood cabinetry, marble flooring as well. And you have a saltwater pool, gym, private boat dock, all types of cool things in the clubhouse. Walking distance to downtown Clearwater, 700 North Osceola Avenue, number 405 in Clearwater. You can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
Somewhere sunny and 75.
All right, we got Michael Watkins back on the program. Michael Watkins is the principal of Tampa Bay Advisory and author of the 401k Revival. Michael, welcome back to the program, Consumer Quarterback Show. And I remember you mentioned folks were kind of taking their eye off the ball. Tell us a little bit more about what you mean by that.
Yeah, so, with all the, stuff going on in the stock market, S&P's down, I think, 22% year to date. People are really concerned about their investments performing, and rightfully so. But they're completely taking their eye off the ball, and I'm talking about pre-retirees. They're not looking at the what-ifs in life that could affect the ability of them to spend freely in retirement, Brandon.
Okay, and what type of what-ifs are you referring about?
Well, a lot of folks are not factoring in the possibility of a death of a spouse, or needing long-term care costs. Those are astronomical. Or the very real possibility of Social Security benefits being reduced, by 2032, 2035, in that time frame. And personally, I believe Social Security is in trouble going forward. So these are some of the things that I think people should refocus on and pay attention to. So what we do here, Brandon, at Tampa Bay Advisory, we have a unique process. It's called the Income for Life Planning Report, and we show people on a big flat screen here in our office how certain events could affect their income, and most importantly, the surviving spouse's income. And, that can be a very sobering experience. And what we've experienced, Brandon, is typically there's a 35 to 65% decrease in income for a surviving spouse. And guess what? That's usually the wife that's left behind.
Right.
So, think about that for a second.
Yeah, it does happen, and you see that happen most of the time. That scenario. If you just joined us, by the way, we're talking with Michael Watkins, Tampa Bay Advisory, and he's the author of 401k Revival, the 401k Revival, protecting your assets with tax-free long-term care. Michael on the program here. So you talk about the Income for Life report and how they can see their stress-tested situation. So talk a little bit more about the life report that you can provide.
Yeah. So so people can connect with me through TampaBayAdvisory.com or call me toll free at 844-603-1400, and let's connect. It's a pretty simple process. We can do it virtually or either in my office, and I believe it's a really a good eye-opening event. And so, folks get to ask me, hey, what if this scenario happens? What if that scenario happens? And it's all up on a big screen. And, numbers don't lie. People do, right?
Yeah.
So, when you see the numbers move around, it's pretty stunning.
So the market is down again today. What are your thoughts, Michael? What do you think is going to happen, here in the short term and long term?
The longer this goes on, Brandon, the less confidence I have in a lot of things. And, I wrote the book, The 401k Revival, for the average investor. And let's just consider this. Let's say you've got a 401k plan. Maybe it's down 15, 20%, something like that. What if you had proper risk management inside of your 401k plan, and your plan maybe is down 5 or 10%?
Okay.
That people don't realize that risk management is available to everyone, and particularly the little guy. And so, our money manager, Howard Capital Management, that does their 401k plans, managing them for us, they've been in 65% cash and bonds for the last 2 months. So, it's all about the less you lose, the more you get to keep. So what if you had a defensive strategy in place and, you avoided a large portion of that downturn. I think folks would have a lot more confidence, and they would be a lot less stressed out than they are today.
Yeah, Michael, we've talked about too in previous shows, and I've kind of heard it when you think about how hard we work for our money, and then how easy it is to lose that money. It's definitely something for people to be cautious about. And then we're paying into Social Security and disability and those types of government related programs. But can you reemphasize what you said earlier about how long Social Security, because the years are numbered, right? It's close to a decade or something like that till that reserve runs out.
Yeah. So, the economists are saying that somewhere around 2032, 2035, Social Security is not going to be able to fund their entire liabilities. And the projections are somewhere around 75 or 80% of the benefits will still be able to be paid out. But think about it, 10, 15 years from now, you're in your retirement, you're not working, you're really relying on Social Security and the investments that you've accumulated over time, and now you get a 20% haircut.
Right.
And then inflation that's running rapid. So I think it's a good idea to really plan a lot further ahead and to take a real sober look at what's going on around us.
Yeah, absolutely. Kind of look at the whole big picture. If you look at, the World Economic Forum, you hear about the Party of Davos and what, some of these big, globalist type, institutions are doing, man. It's kind of scary when you kind of look at that. But what we focus on is what we can control. And let's bring it back to Michael Watkins here, Tampa Bay Advisory. What can we control, Michael, as a taxpayer, as a we're in our income earning years. What are the things that we can control? What would you advise for us to focus on?
Yeah, so most people, when they're in the working years, Brandon, that's called the accumulation phase, right? Mm-hmm. So you build your assets, you're taking on a lot of risk. Your money's in the stock market, sometimes very aggressively. And when you move or start to transfer into what I call the red zone, and that's the 10 years before retirement, before you actually walk away from your employment, it's during that time that you really should start taking up a defensive strategy. And when you move into retirement, Brandon, you're in the distribution phase, not the accumulation phase.
Right.
So when you move into retirement, the accumulation is pretty much done. Okay, if you're lucky if you can keep up with inflation at that point, and that's one of their main focuses. So, a defensive strategy now, 10 years before retirement is really, really, I think, important. And just think about the folks, Brandon, in 2000 and 2008 that were getting ready to retire, and they had the rug pulled from under them. The lucky ones were able to continue working, but there were some that couldn't.
Right.
Their jobs just wouldn't have them. And so they're now living a life on less.
Yep, absolutely. In the last segment, we talked about the CPI index coming out 9.1%. A lot of people think that's actually an underestimation of the consumer price index, highest in 41 years.
Yeah, I think everything's underestimated. They try to make, the government always tries to make it look better than it is. So
exactly.
If that's the number they're saying, I'm just kind of curious maybe if it's a different number.
Yeah, me too. I agree with you, Michael. I'm reading you there. So we got Michael Watkins, principal. He's the principal of Tampa Bay Advisory and author of 401k Revival, published author. And Michael, we got about a minute left. Back to you. And final thought, and how can folks connect?
Yeah, sure. Well, visit me at tampabayadvisory.com. You can also go to tampabayltc.com. A landing page that I have, and that talks about my new book, Protecting Your Assets with Tax-Free Long-Term Care. And so, the two things, the 401k and the need that folks are going to probably have. I mean, the Department of Health and Human Services is telling us that 70% of today's 65-year-olds are going to need long-term care in some form or fashion. So, you know, you can use an asset-based strategy, and it's really about gambling with the kid's inheritance. So, you know, think about that.
Yeah, exactly. All right, well, that's about our time for today. Michael, find him online, TampaBayAdvisory.com. Michael Watkins, you can find him online, TampaBayAdvisory.com. And he's also got a site out there for his book, The 401k Revival, as well. So thank you, Michael. Appreciate those nuggets of advice.
You bet. Thanks a lot, Brandon.
Hey, my pleasure. All right, taking a quick break, coming back with Shane Socash. He's the owner of David Reynolds Jewelry and Coin, another local business owner here in Tampa Bay. Support the local economy by supporting our show. Precious metals, gold, silver, platinum, jewelry, buy and sell as well. Socash on the program. Coming up soon. Also, our feel-good story of the day, Martin Gramatica leads U19 West Florida Flames to nationals. Former Bucks kicker, head coach of the youth soccer team. We'll be right back.
Hey, everybody, it's the captain, Matt Bruce, and you're listening to my buddy, Brandon Rhymes, a consumer quarterback. Sell, Brandon, sell.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com.
Hey, Brandon Rhymes here. We are looking for real estate investors. We've got a new relationship bringing us a tremendous amount of off-market real estate investment opportunities. So text the word investor to our hotline, 813-750-0550. Off-market real estate investment opportunities. Text investor to 813-750-0550. Brandon Rhymes here, Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty, looking for real estate investors. Send us a text.
Selling commercial or residential property? Don't leave money on the table. List with the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. I'm Brandon Rhymes. Reach me at 813-670-7372 or platinummvpteam.com.
Hey, Brandon Rhymes here for Cleaning Commandos here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Cleaning Commandos are hiring, and they're offering competitive wages, flexible hours, relaxed atmosphere, and a sign-on bonus. Reach out if you'd like a career with the Cleaning Commandos here in Tampa Bay. Info at cleaningcommandosllc.com or call 813-750-0550, 813-750-0550. Cleaning Commandos, Consumer Quarterback Show.
You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-917-1894.
And we're back. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, Platinum MVP team, Keller Williams Realty. Got a commercial listing here at 507 South Prospect Avenue in Clearwater. This is a beautiful building. This is a beautiful 2-story building, 12 rooms. You got 2 bathrooms. It's right off of Gulf to Bay in Clearwater. This is a gorgeous property, 2,624 square feet. Great income opportunity as well if you wanted to purchase, maybe rent out or keep some of the rooms yourself, rent the other ones out. 507 South Prospect Avenue in Clearwater, just 10 minutes from downtown Clearwater Beach, and a beautiful spot, newer roof and HVAC systems right off of Gulf to Bay. Downtown Clearwater, beautiful property, 507 South Prospect Avenue in Clearwater. You can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
Sun is shining, the weather is sweet. Tell me something good.
All right, here's our feel-good story of the day about Martin Gramatica leading his U19 West Florida Flames to nationals. The Bucks kicker is the head coach of the youth soccer team, and he is on his way to nationals. Martin Gramatica, head coach of the team. The Flames are proving that it's not how you start, but how you finish. He says, quote, "We had a rough start, but in the middle of the season, after high school season, we got everything out." Midfielder Harold Diaz added, "We were undefeated." And the chemistry on and off the field is key to the soccer for Gramatica. He was the kicker for the 2003 Super Bowl winning Buccaneers, a team brought together by head coach Tony Dungy. And he says, quote, what I want to create is where they love each other on and off the field more than on the field. More on the field than off the field. The Gramatica said that's something that Coach Tony Dungy taught us. It's more important to bond off the field than it is on the field. If you create the great bond, it's going to show on the field. It's a huge start for part of sports to have a family on and off the field, said Nico Gramatica, and you want to play for your teammates, the people that you love. So they go to play in the National Cup in final in Denver against the best club teams from all over the country, and to advance in group play, the defense need to continue to keep the ball out of the net. The tournament will take place in the home facility of the Colorado Rapids in Denver. The Flames' first game is July 17th. All right, there's our feel-good story of the day, and we are going back to the phone lines here. Shane Socash on the program, David Reynolds Jewelry and Coin. He's the owner, and again, another great area business owner. Support the local economy by supporting the show. Welcome, Shane.
Hey, Brandon, how are you?
I'm doing well, my friend. Blessed and highly favored. How about yourself?
Very much so.
Excellent, man. Good to hear it. Tell me a little bit more about what you're seeing down there. How are things going?
Well, not unlike Bitcoin and lots of investments, the metals have kind of taken a hit, and we're seeing people use it as an opportunity to buy gold and silver on sale in terms of bullion-type products like gold bars, gold coins, silver bars, silver coins. They're seeing it as an opportunity to, buy at a more favorable price.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You look at what happened with crypto. Crypto is not, it's like the kryptonite to Superman, right? I mean, crypto is not what it seemed to be at one point.
Unfortunately, yeah. So, the metals haven't taken that kind of hit. But I think just about everything. There's a lot of fear out there, and it's definitely impacting just about everything, and metals are included. I will tell you that the behavior that we're seeing is that we are selling more than we've ever sold, so people believe it's going back up. So,
yeah. Somebody had sent me an article, Wall Street on Parade. It's a Citizen's Guide to Wall Street, but talking about crypto, it says over 1,600 of the brightest scientific minds in technology have signed a letter calling both crypto and blockchain a sham. It's by Pam Martins and Russ Martins, the letter. And it goes on to talk about how they sent a letter to Congress and the chairs of the Senate Banking Housing, signed by more than 1,600 computer scientists, software engineers, technologists from around the world, 45 signatures who currently work at Google, Microsoft, Apple, et cetera. So they strongly disagree about crypto and the blockchain. But anyways, we're talking about, sometimes we get into these alternative investment opportunities. But yeah, the precious metals, gold, silver, platinum, tried and true.
Absolutely, yeah.
Tried and true. And you also buy as well, so folks want to bring in, anything that they have around the home, coins, gold, metal, silver, precious metals, you will actually appraise and buy for them.
In my office, and I'm taking a look at our surveillance, and our store is full, and I see at least 2 coin collections being sorted through right at this second. We see just an inordinate amount of coins at this point, lots of coins coming through our store. And, they can be worth significant money, too, so.
Yeah, and you remember the old term, like growing up, you say, save that for a rainy day. I remember my one of my great uncles on my stepdad's side, he'd give us what they called clinkers, like 50-cent pieces, right? And hey, save these for a rainy day, those types of things. Well, I think we talked about in the previous segment, 9.1% of the consumer price index, the highest that we've seen in 41 years. The average consumer needs $493 more per month. So I would say these are kind of rainy days, quote unquote.
It is rainy days. I will tell you, I stopped the last couple of days at Starbucks in the morning, and the line isn't nearly as long as it typically has been. So I don't know what that tells you.
Yeah. There's also an article I saw this morning about 13 locations of Starbucks closing down locations, allegedly due to crime and things of that nature. Some people think that it may be due to some of those stores that are unionizing. But yeah, that's a good point. People, they're starting to look at their discretionary income and saying, hey, maybe I don't need that extra Starbucks coffee in the morning or whatever.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we're talking with Shane Socash here on the program. David Reynolds Jewelry and Coin. He's got a great establishment, highly respected in the areas of jewelry and coins and wedding design, wedding rings, and all types of jewelry design. Let's talk a little bit about that. What are you seeing on that side? And you do have the certified gemologist on staff as well.
Yeah, so we have 3 graduate gemologists and 2 registered master valuers. So we're doing, legal estate appraisals pretty regularly. We just bought a big estate, $235,000 from a law firm just recently, last few days. We have that going on. I literally just before I got on the phone with you, I hung up with my CAD software company, getting that all squared away. We do a lot of CAD design of engagement rings and jewelry in general. We're full service, 6 full-time jewelers, so we can fix anything. We specialize in things other people say can't be done.
And when you say CAD, that's computer-aided design?
Exactly. Yeah, I should have clarified that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It is pretty neat. We can show you photorealistic images of what a ring will look like before we've actually made it, so there's no surprises when it's time to pick it up.
It's amazing what of course, computers can do. Even smartphones in some cases. But not only are we designing organs, in some of the books I'm reading, Tony Robbins' latest book. Some of the advances in medical, but especially for jewelry, I imagine you can get very creative and take some ideas that may be a sentimental point for the bride or I guess the groom. But typically, the bride receiving the gift in terms of different types of jewelry. In many cases, I would assume. But yeah, get creative with that, right?
Yeah. You had mentioned, sentimental things like over time. We've done some things like we've integrated paw prints into an engagement ring because the bride was, so involved in dogs and rescue and that type of thing, and she wanted that to be reflected in her engagement ring. And whatever people can dream up, whatever's meaningful to them, and if you can't dream anything up, we can dream it up for you.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And you're right there on Central Avenue. What's the address again?
It's 4009 Central Avenue, corner of 40th Street and Central Avenue.
Central Avenue, St. Pete, Pinellas County. Online, David Reynolds Jewelry and Coin, 4009 Central Avenue in St. Petersburg. All right, Shane, thank you so much. Appreciate the update.
Thank you, Brandon.
My pleasure. All right. Hey, another great show. Kicked it off with Justin Kelly, CPF Mortgage, and also had Michael Watkins, Principal, Tampa Bay Advisory, and, of course, Shane Socash. And we want you to please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness, do something kind for one another, and be a force for good in the community. We'll see you next time right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, ConsumerQB.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Call Brandon Rhymes at 813-917-1894. That's 813-917-1894. Online at ConsumerQB.com. And join us next time for the Consumer Quarterback Show.